I'm Janet Millstein. I mix traditional printmaking techniques of lithography or monoprint. I've done etching with digital technique, playing with overlaps and color blends and all the magic that exists in the digital world. This collection for me was such an amazing experience. John Donk had the idea of bringing me together with the Historical Society. They set me up with cotton gloves and a computer and some boxes. I saw hundreds of images immediately. I was struck with, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to choose? And after I got over it for a minute, I just said, grab, just don't think too much. Kid in a candy store, grab your images. Just grab everything. If a certain expression got me, if the way a character was looking, those images began to call to me, and I just started taking them. It's such a rich treasure to see all this. Knowing that I'm going to layer photography or other drawings on top of it to have the brightest base come through is always going to work. So the colors then are the original printmaking or what are emanating through. I can control that. I picked photo filters then that would complement that, again based on the figures and what they were starting to tell me about themselves. And if I was starting to put them in a scene, the color would help to determine that. Woods, the birch tree, they all just it starts to come together. This vibrant yellow and the red and the green is all from a particular monoprint, the blue coming through, and then I let that start to talk to me too, and it starts to come together. This is the original photo of that woman. She's meeting your eye, and that was intriguing to me. Once I have a subject that I like if it is the fawn, or if it is, in this case, this woman in her face, and the way she was just standing there like this, looking out, and I thought, is she happy? Is she sad? She doesn't. What is going on in her head? I do often think in terms of women and the roles of women, their ability to do what they wanted to do. And it doesn't mean that when they weren't able necessarily to do it, that they weren't thinking and dreaming and wishing about doing it. And it doesn't mean that they were fully subservient in their roles as housewives or maids, that just because they were doing that and that was a survival or a desire, it doesn't mean that there wasn't a turbulence inside and saying, this is that person flat, that's all there is to them. I began to feel like I was seeing the patterns of their lives, certainly by the dates of their dress, the horses in wagons, the structures of the homes, some parts of Lake Placid downtown that are still standing. So St. Agnes's Church, so all of a sudden I felt like I was back in their time observing them. And I could pick any one of them out, and they were this community. So to me, they are all tied because they were tied. They may or may not have known each other, but they were all part of that collection of this community. There were hotel workers, there were loggers, there were people at the Lake Placid Club who clearly had a very privileged life. They were all there in the collection, and it's fascinating to look at.